Um, I I think it's so impressive, and he deserves to win a championship.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. just made some pretty bold statements about Denny Hamlin that have the entire NASCAR world talking. Denny Hamlin has been racing in the Cup Series for 21 years. That's more than 2 decades of showing up every Sunday, putting his car in contention, and walking away empty-handed when it comes to that big championship trophy. But Dale Jr. sees something different when he looks at Hamlin's career. On his latest Dale Jr. Download podcast, Jr. laid it all out there. He thinks Hamlin deserves to win a championship, and he's not holding back about why. Dale Jr. put it this way.
I think it's so impressive, and he deserves to win a championship. He deserves to know what that feels like.
Yeah.
All the things that all the wins, all the trophies in the house, all the things that he has in his memory of his career. He deserves to have a trophy.
Hamlin is 44 years old. In most sports, that's when athletes are thinking about retirement or at least slowing down. But Hamlin, he's getting better. Dale Jr. noticed this too and called it out directly. He said, Hamlin is at that age where anyone with some sense would look at him and wonder when Father Time is going to catch up with him. But it's just not happening. Think about what that means for a second. While other drivers are struggling to figure out this next-gen car that NASCAR introduced, Hamlin has mastered it. While younger guys are making mistakes and having off weekends, this 44-year-old is out there running up front week after week. Dale Jr. compared Hamlin to drivers like Harry Gant and Bobby Allison, who were winning races well into their 40s. But here's the thing that makes Hamlin special. It's not just about age, it's about adaptation. Jr. explained that success at this level comes from mental sharpness and the ability to adapt, and Hamlin has both in spades. Over his 21-year career, Hamlin has gone through multiple crew chiefs, different race cars, and various generations of cars. Most drivers would struggle with that kind of change, but Hamlin, he finds a way to make it work every single time. Dale Jr. was impressed by this, saying that regardless of the crew chief, the car, or the package, Hamlin figured out how to get to the top. But let's talk about something that really caught Dale Jr.'s attention, Hamlin's role at Joe Gibbs Racing. Since JGR started racing in 1992, they've seen a lot of drivers come and go. Big names too. Kyle Busch won a championship there and eventually left. Bobby Labonte won a championship and was shown the door a few years later. Tony Stewart, same story. Dale Jr. pointed out that through all these changes, there's been one constant at Joe Gibbs Racing, Denny Hamlin. Jr. even compared him to the band R.E.M., saying Hamlin is just out there making music year after year. That kind of loyalty and consistency in a sport where driver changes happen all the time is pretty remarkable.
He's at that age, at 44 years old, to where anybody with some sense would look at him and go, all right, when are we going to start to see it, right? When are we going to start to see the...
Now here's where Dale Jr.'s comments get really spicy. He thinks this might be the year Hamlin finally breaks through. Jr. said that every year people look at Hamlin and say, this is his best shot, but this time feels different. Dale Jr. believes that for maybe the first time in Hamlin's career, he has the best car in the field. When Dale Jr. and his team think about who's going to be good at any given race weekend, Hamlin is always one of the top 3 names that comes up. He's always the top Toyota driver. That consistency of being in the conversation week after week, year after year, is what has Jr. so convinced that Hamlin deserves this championship. The numbers back up what Dale Jr. is saying too. Hamlin has 59 career Cup Series wins and counting. He's just 4 wins behind his former teammate Kyle Busch. This season alone, he's won 5 races, making him the winningest driver of 2025. With his recent win at Gateway, he's now just 1 win away from tying Kevin Harvick for 10th place on the all-time wins list. But here's what makes this whole situation even more interesting: Hamlin's age. At 44, he's competing against drivers who are 8, 10, 12, even 14 years younger than him. Dale Jr. was amazed by this, noting that Hamlin's work ethic and preparation allow him to go toe-to-toe with these younger guys without missing a beat. Jr. explained that Hamlin has always been honest about not considering himself the most naturally gifted driver. Hamlin has said in the past that he has to work harder than guys who might have more raw talent, but Dale Jr. thinks that might be changing. He suggested that Hamlin might now feel like he's the best guy out there, and honestly, the results are starting to back that up. What really impressed Dale Jr. is how Hamlin has raced through different generations of cars and always found a way to succeed. While experience is valuable, Jr. noted that sometimes older drivers hang on to habits that don't serve them well with new cars. But Hamlin seems to have avoided that trap completely. At 44 years old, most people would be asking when we're going to see time catch up with Hamlin. Instead, he's getting better. Dale Jr. called him an anomaly, and that's probably the perfect way to describe what we're seeing. The next-gen car has been a challenge for everyone since it debuted. Some of NASCAR's best drivers have struggled to figure it out, but Hamlin adapted quickly and has been one of the most successful drivers in this era. Jr. pointed out that no matter what obstacles get thrown at Hamlin, new crew chiefs, new cars, new rules packages, he figures it out and gets back to the top. This brings us to something Dale Jr. feels strongly about. He thinks Hamlin is like a unicorn in NASCAR history. Jr. asked what would happen if Hamlin ended his career with all these wins and achievements, but no championship. He compared it to Mark Martin, another great driver who never won a Cup Series title, but suggested that Hamlin's situation might be even more unique. When you look at NASCAR history, hundreds of drivers have competed in the Cup Series without winning championships, but very few have reached the level of success that Hamlin has achieved. Dale Jr. made this point crystal clear. No bad driver has 59 Cup wins under his belt. The personal connection Dale Jr. has to this story makes his comments even more meaningful. Jr. himself never won a Cup Series championship despite having 26 wins and a very successful career. His best points finish was third place back in 2003. So when he talks about wanting to see Hamlin get that championship, it comes from a place of understanding. Dale Jr. has basically become Hamlin's biggest cheerleader, and he's not shy about it. He keeps urging NASCAR fans to give Hamlin the credit he deserves for being a championship contender year after year after year. Looking at this 2025 season specifically, Dale Jr. has that deja vu feeling. He said there's something they say about Hamlin every year, and it's always been true. Every year people say, this is his best shot. And every single year, Hamlin seems to get even better. But this year feels different to Jr. He thinks Hamlin has the best car in the field, maybe for the first time in his career. When teams go to the racetrack and start thinking about who's going to be competitive, Hamlin is always mentioned in the top three. He's consistently the top Toyota driver, and Jr. finds that level of consistency impressive. The big question now is whether Hamlin can sustain this performance through the playoffs and finally get the job done at Phoenix in the championship race. Dale Jr. thinks Hamlin is in the best position he's ever been in to make it happen. Hamlin has already locked himself into the round of 12 after a strong start to the playoffs. He's got momentum on his side and the speed to back it up. Jr. sees all of this coming together at the right time. What makes Hamlin's story even more compelling is how fans view him. He's definitely a polarizing figure in NASCAR. Some fans love him, others see him as the villain of the sport. But that controversial personality seems to fuel him rather than hold him back. He's managing his 23XI racing team while still performing at the highest level as a driver, which shows just how focused and driven he is.